check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.
On.
Hello. Welcome to the first quiz of Law Unplugged. और आज ये this is the trial edition. We'll invite guests in future and we'll see how it goes, how the pilot how the pilot episode of this quiz goes. Whoever wins this gets immense respect and that's it. So respect is much more valuable than money. All right. With those golden words, दोस्तों शुरू करते हैं आज का गेम. तो I'll just briefly tell you the rules. Every question is of 10 marks and I'll make sure I'll keep a count of the marks that are being allotted. I'll moderate the quiz for the first time because I made it yesterday and nobody saw it fortunately, so the questions are still doable. और अभी क्या हो गया, तो फर्स्ट होगा करंट अफेयर्स. इसमें we'll have 3 questions in each category. So in current affairs like the recent happenings. फिर उसके बाद अपना होगा एक कनेक्ट द डॉट्स. उसमें ऐसा मैं फोटो डालूंगा या कुछ ऐसे अलग, मतलब तुमको कुछ हिंट्स दूंगा. यू हैव टू फाइंड द लिंक एंड गिव मी द आंसर. और लास्ट होगा स्टैटिक. उसमें अपन ऑब्वियसली स्टैटिक में क्या जो पास्ट के हैपनिंग्स है उसके बारे में क्वेश्चंस है. fairly doable in my understanding. ऐसा कुछ there is no grudge or no ऐसा purposefully hard questions being put in the slide. ये ऐसा मैं दिखाऊं कि हाँ भाई मेरे को ज्यादा आता है, ऐसा कोई नहीं है. चलो भाई, तो पहला क्वेश्चन के साथ शुरू करते हैं. ऑल राइट, सबको दिख रहा है भाई? एक बार थम्स अप दिखा दो कोई एक. राइट, so the first question being give context. These are quotations. So I have quoted some personality. He said, I have an announcement over the weekend I have discovered. That is whatever the statement ahead is the very context which you have to tell me. And the next line he says is that these things are better clarified in the beginning, else such issues could cause potential problems in the future. So if any one of you knows, you can go, or we'll go by sequence. So we'll first go with Amay, Hemant, and then Divyansh. So just giving you a brief hint of this. So now because he has said I have discovered something over the weekend, which maybe means that something.
I got it. I got the answer.
You got the answer?
Sorry, I got the answer. Yeah.
But,
I think this was said by CJI when he was hearing the Cyrus Mystery case, Tata Mystery case.
And so I'll give you all the points, but just for the sake of it, can you give me what the potential conflict was? Like why did he say this?
Because one of his relative actually represented one of the parties in the contention. So on this basis, I think.
Okay, so because nobody else knew this, I mean obviously now we can't go back to Amay. But Amay, did you have any idea on this?
I mean, I didn't have any idea on this, but I think there could be another instance. I recently read Justice D.Y. Chandrachud also recused himself. He withdrew from the bench because the lawyer was his relative. So, I mean, these lines maybe.
Which case?
I don't know the name of the case, but I mean,
right.
this same line would be used by him as well. So, I mean.
No. Let me make my statements clear. I think this was in context of CGI telling him to in the context of his son or something. So where I think he presented Cyrus Mystery.
Right. So so just giving the answer right there. It was because his so you can read on the screen. Because his son Srinivas Bobde was representing one of the concerned parties who are a part of the Palonji Mystery group, the Shapurji Palonji, to which the Cyrus Mystery originally belonged. Originally, as in before joining Tata Group. To my best understanding, that is how the structure of the case is. And because his son Srinivas Bobde was representing one of the parties, he clarified it that just before we start. So Mr. Harish Salve was also a counsel representing one of the parties, and he said that I have no problem, Your Honor, you can continue with this. And which is why he said that even though these things might not cause a problem right now, they may be a potential problem in the future, which is why I am clarifying it. So that tomorrow तुम कल ऐसा ना बोल दो कि ये तो natural justice के against हो गया ऐसा. So that was the first question. All right, Hemant clearly having an edge here with 10 points, and Amay also had a guess, but obviously to no avail. Divine yet to open his account as usual. Yes, this is a very easy question. This case recently held the right to internet access as a fundamental right. This is very easy.
I know this.
Yes, Divine, you can go ahead.
FIMA versus the state of Kerala, if I'm not wrong.
No, you are on the right track, because the state of Kerala was the first state in India to have done that. But because this is current affairs, so I am asking you a very recent judgment of the Supreme Court of India. And FIMA versus Kerala was 2017, I guess. Because as far as I know, Kerala was the first state to have done that, but that was not a Supreme Court case. And secondly, now that because this is also recent, so we'll go by order. We'll go with Amay first. Amay, do you have any answer?
No.
Hemant?
I don't know anything.
Oh man.
No idea.
All right. Divyansh, आपके पास कोई है और कोई जवाब?
No.
Okay, so I'll give you one last chance. This is now for now the points will obviously be reduced because this is the hint wala round. So the hint is that now right to internet. So just think, where is internet being banned recently? Where has it been banned?
Is it Jammu Kashmir?
Yes. So
Jammu
think
Kashmir,
on those lines. So there was a recent case contesting the legality of internet ban in Jammu Kashmir. If you could tell me the name, or even the petitioner or the parties involved, anything would do. If no one has the answer, I'm going to the solution. Also sure, because हमारे पास टाइम की इतनी कमी है दोस्तों, प्रोजेक्ट हम टाइम पे करते नहीं है, पर हमारे पास फिर टाइम नहीं है. Right, so it was Anuradha Bhasin versus Union of India, and it was obviously a writ petition by the lady Anuradha Bhasin, who happens to be a journalist, and none other than Ghulam Nabi Azad ji, the erstwhile Chief Minister of Jammu and Kashmir. So it was a writ petition which challenged the legality of internet ban in Jammu and Kashmir, and obviously the Supreme Court of India ruled in their favor. And thereafter they gave the instructions to the Union of India to review the very imposition of internet ban, which obviously wasn't removed because of the reason of national security and sovereignty of India being in the foreplay. So the government of India ने बोला कि नहीं अभी हम ये सब नहीं कर सकते, क्योंकि नेशनल सिक्योरिटी का इशू है, कोई और वहां पे इंटरनेट का यूज करके कुछ और, there can be some other message being like some message can be transmitted which might not be in the national interest of the country, so we cannot just give any internet connection. But after that they give 2G internet connection to the state of Jammu and Kashmir, which was also criticized by a few people कि उसमें कुछ होता ही नहीं है 2G में. But in any case, it's nothing. Something is better than nothing. So 2G was maybe better, and also in conformity with the judgment of Anuradha Bhasin. Moving on. This is very easy. Identify this judge and nickname. So you can also read.
Yeah, I got it. No,
but just don't tell the answer. We'll go by sequence. So if you have already got it, then Amay, if you don't have an answer, then we go to him.
Just give me 1 minute. Let me read the full question. So Hemant can move forward before me.
So I think it's Ruth Berg. I think it's
yeah. Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Yeah, right.
Right. So I'll do one thing. I'll distribute the points. I'll give Hemant 6 and Amay 4, because Hemant couldn't tell me the complete name.
Yeah, but it was Hemant who came up with the name first.
All right. So we'll do one thing. We'll give Hemant the edge over it, and we'll give him a majority of the points.
6 and 4. Good. Fair enough.
Right. So now this was like, just to give audience a brief on this. ये बहुत ही interesting question था, because it was very clearly written. So the first word on the slide is Etsy. Etsy is like a social media platform wherein there was this post. A fan had put up a portrait of RBG, Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg, and obviously, so there is this one more collateral question attached here, that is, identify the nickname of this judge. So if someone can tell me the nickname, I'll give him +1, which obviously more than 10, but क्योंकि अपना क्विज है तो अपन तो देंगे. So I'll just give you one hint. Now it is said that the portrait of RBG was defined as the perfect piece for your home or office or gift for the feminist or the liberal in your life. So obviously her judgments were reflective of the feminist and the liberal approach that she took, which is why the description says so. And the nickname is very interesting because it has a pop culture reference. So she says that she defines the nickname as, I'll admit I had to be told by my law clerks, what's this dash? And they explained that to me. So obviously she didn't know the answer to it. She didn't know the explanation of the nickname. And she thought it was something very, it was like something on the defamatory side, which caused her sort of apprehension. So just in case if nobody knows, I'll tell the answer is notorious. So the word is notorious RBG. The nickname was Notorious, and it was in reference to some rapper in the United States. I completely forgot the name, but his name is also like Notorious.
Okay.
Like we have like there is this Lil Punk, so something like as they adopt, no, like Lil is their
yeah.
Prefix. So the prefix is the name of Notorious. So that was it. Question in this was last question. अभी meeting को 7 minute है, ठीक है, continue कर रहे हैं अपन. Right. So now this is a very interesting segment because this is my brainchild, and being the quizmaster, it gives me immense pleasure to continue the first question. So right now, identify this iconic case. All right, this is just to give you a hint on this. This is not an Indian case, so don't restrict your vision to anything. Now. You can see the sequence. So there is a flight, something happens to it when it is flying over this X city in Scotland. Now after investigations are taken place, because the flight, a bombing takes place in the flight. So when the bombings are investigated, it is found out that Libya is behind these bombings, that certain like the terrorists who were behind, the perpetrators behind the bombings were nationals of Libya. And thereafter, a resolution 748 is passed in the United Nations to impose sanctions on Libya by none other than by this very the only country who is there in every action, who is behind, who is the sole the torch bearer in every criminal case that happens.
It's okay. Don't name it.
Exercising the universal jurisdiction over criminal cases in this case as well. So this is a very famous case, and the name of this case starts with the name of the city in Scotland over which the bombing took place. So just to give you a hint, like जैसे अब 26/11 को अपन क्या बोलते हैं कि ताज होटल बॉम्बिंग जैसा बोलते हैं ना बहुत बार, कि it is remembered by this iconic Taj Hotel bombing. Although 26/11 was the date, but ऐसे अपन कुछ नाम नहीं है उस टेररिस्ट अटैक का, तो we recognize it by the Taj Hotel bombing. वैसे ही इस केस का भी जो बहुत ही कॉमन रेफरेंस है, it goes back to this city in Scotland. And there are many series based on these. There are like web series भी, mini series तो है, web series का I have no clue. I have not seen if there is one. All right, we'll start with Amay. Amay, do you have any answer?
No.
Hemant, moving on to...
No clue. No idea.
Divyansh, do you have any answer to this?
No.
All right. So, I'll give you the answer because there is obviously no point in deliberating more. So, these are the Lockerbie bombings. So, Lockerbie is a city in Scotland. And you can read the description also that Pan Am Flight 103 is the name of the flight. Pan Am 103 is the name which exploded while it was flying over the city of Scotland. And all the 259 people on board were killed. But it was so gruesome that not only the people on board were killed, but also because the debris of the flight, it fell down on civilians. So 11 civilians on ground were also killed. And this was obviously in 1988. So back then, the International Criminal Court was yet to be established. So the case went to International Court of Justice, and then there was. So meanwhile, while the case was while the case was in process, so there was a resolution passed by the Security Council imposing sanctions on the country of Libya because investigations told that Libya was the one behind this bombing. And now, because this resolution came while the case was going on, impositions, trade embargoes, and I guess this arms and ammunition embargoes imposed on Libya, which were removed in 2000.
Yeah.
Right.
To being to have this is a very interesting question.
I
So
think I
all
pre-guessed the
right.
answer.
No, so just don't tell the answer. Let everyone take. And also, because you know the answer, I also want you to give me the context. Don't just tell me the headline.
Sure.
Like the headline is X, like dash raids dash. This was the headline of a newspaper, of many newspapers in India, and both the dash represent the same word. So I I want you to tell me the context, identify who these people are. If not giving me the exact image and the name, you can also like tell me who both of these are. And yeah, so that's the question. So starting with, I'll go to Hemant directly because I don't see Amay has any guess. So Hemant, if you are well versed.
The first picture is Mr. Alok Kumar, who was the director of the CBI, and the second picture is of Rakesh Asthana, who was the deputy special director of the CBI. So the issue was the director had alleged, corruption charges against his deputy, and the deputy has alleged corruption charges against the director itself. And on these basis, I think the government had suspended, had put the director on forced, vacation or so, and then that was challenged in Supreme Court. And again, there was a three-member committee that consists of the Prime Minister, Congress opposition, leader of opposition, and the Chief Justice, who was represented by A.K. Sikri, and who had unanimously resolved to, appoint somebody else in place of Alok Kumar. This was the basic thing I got. I think I missed some facts.
So 75 to almost 85 to 90% is right. Only difference is the first photo is of Alok Verma, not of Alok Kumar.
Verma. Verma. Sorry.
Yes. So I'll just give you the brief answer. You are getting 10 complete points. I'll just give you the brief. What happened is there was a case which alleged that Rakesh Asthana, the deputy director, was involved in some bribery charges. And when asked from Rakesh Asthana, तो उसने बोला कि मैं नहीं हूँ. It is Alok Verma who has taken the bribe. And then what happened was that the case and the headline obviously was CBI raids CBI, because CBI raided the headquarters of itself in New Delhi to arrest some other officer, who then took name of Rakesh Asthana, and Rakesh Asthana told कि नहीं भाई, Alok Verma is the main culprit. And then what happened finally was that Nageshwara Rao, if I am getting the name right, or something on the similar name, Nageshwar Rao or Mr. Nageshwar was appointed as the director of CBI, and Mr. Asthana was sent to aviation department, and Alok Verma was also sent on deportation to some other department. So they both were removed from their posts. Must be the same. I am not aware right now of the same. So that was the very answer to it. So this is the answer. CBI raids CBI. They conducted raids in their own headquarters and arrested the DSP Devinder Kumar, who then took name of Rakesh Asthana, and Rakesh Asthana ultimately told it was Alok Verma. So there was a suspicion on both of these, and both of them were ultimately removed, and new appointments were made in their place. That was it. That was at the second round. Now moving on with the last segment. This is the static tail. Named it because obviously it's very eminent. It's very evident. Sorry, that static ही होगा अब हर question. खत्म ही हो रहा है. Right. So moving on with the first question. Just a brief hint before we jump into the round. सारे क्वेश्चन स्टैटिक होंगे, तो कोई इसमें देयर इज नो ऐसा कोई इशू नहीं है कि मैंने पेपर नहीं पढ़ा, ये नहीं पढ़ा, ऐप नहीं देखा. ये सब 20-30 साल पहले हो चुके हैं, तो ऐसे चिल रह के सवाल दो, सबको सारे आंसर्स आते हैं. आई कैन गारंटी यू. वेरी इजी क्वेश्चन.
I know this. I know Madan B. Lokar. Okay. 2019 में हुआ था ना इनका अपॉइंटमेंट.
अच्छा. So all right. So we'll give this to Divyansh, I guess. But Hemant, you also had the same answer, or were you confused?
Yeah, Madan B. Lokar was the answer. I gave it, but it's okay. That was the first.
Chalo, we'll give this to Divyansh because anyways, Hemant is fairly leading the quiz. So I mean, I being the custodian of giving marks in this quiz, I am ensuring equity. सबको समता का अधिकार दे रहा हूँ मैं. All right, so this was the first answer, and obviously Madan B. Lokur has now retired from Supreme Court of India, and he's appointed as the Supreme Court Supreme Court Justice.
There is another fact which is relating to Madan B. Lokur. He was the first region judge to also be a part of a bench in the Supreme Court of Pakistan.
Wow, certainly not known to me. It's very beautiful trivia. And also he was part of this historic press conference taken by 4 justices of Supreme Court against Justice Deepak Mishra back in 2019, I guess. Was it? No, 2018 it was. 2019 January. Confused.
Yeah, 2019
January, right? So there were 4 Justice Chalmeshwar, Madan B. Lokar, Ranjan Gogoi, and
2018 I feel.
Has to be
and Joseph. Korean Joseph.
So 4 they alleged what's that called, bench hunting बोलता है ना, bench hunting का आरोप था ना, allegation था that he is fixing the cases to certain judges, not giving cases to these 4 judges. So anyways, the answer was obviously Justice Madan B. Lokur. Now the next question, identify the link. Tell me what connects all these dots. So as you can see on the screen, we the people.
Yeah, Nani Palki wala.
That is easy.
Nani Palki wala.
All right, but I'll give this to Amay because he had raised his hand earlier, and I was just iterating the question again. So I'll give it to Amay. Amay has 10 points. Again, because equity matters, people. So right, so if Amay, you can explain all the parts, that would be great.
Okay, so We the People is the book. It is basically the book regarding Nani Palkiwala. We the Nation is another book. And salute to Justice Khanna, because I think it was a case in which Justice Khanna expressed his
ADM Jabalpur,
in which Nani Palkiwala was the lawyer. Then after that, owing to his stellar achievements, he was awarded the Padma Bhushan Award. Then part of the Tata Group, I am not very well versed with that. Demystifying the budget speech.
Yeah.
Again, it must be a book. So I am not very well versed, but
I would just tell you something. I would just add on. Salute to Justice Khanna. Nani Palkiwala was not in this case. He was not involved in this case. He was actually surprised. He was going to, but he did not go. And part of Tata Group was, I think, he was appointed one of the directors in one of the Tata listed companies. And demystifying the budget speech is that he used to always give us budget speech after the budget was presented the next day or so in Bombay. So he was famous for decoding what is the welfare of people in this.
Right. See, there is a video on the YouTube channel of the Bombay Bar Council. So in that senior advocate Milind Sathi also he expresses his joy hearing speech. Nani Milind Sathi also वो ऐसे romanticize करते थे उसको. So being a part and being an audience of Nani Palkiwala demystifying the budget in his speeches.
Right. A beautiful answer given by Amay and Hemant. So I'll just give one clarification over there. Salute to Justice Khanna, एक article का नाम था which Nani Palkiwala wrote in one of the leading newspapers back then, to applaud and to commend the step taken by Justice Khanna of going against the Prime Minister, even though knowing that he would be superseded by some junior justice and he will not be promoted as the Chief Justice. So that was one. And second is part of Tata Group की story ये है कि he was appointed as the part of Tata Group, but then he went on to defend the Prime Minister in the case of Raj Narayan versus Indira Gandhi when the case came to Supreme Court after Allahabad High Court. However, what happened was कि Allahabad High Court ने बोला था it was a complete decision in favor of Raj Narayan. Indira Gandhi was certainly, the elections were supposed to be retaken, पर वो Supreme Court में गया. Palkiwala defended Indira Gandhi. They got a stay, but obviously Indira Gandhi imposed emergency after that. I guess a week, within a week she imposed emergency, which usme Nani Palkiwala lost his school, and that is as far as I have read, that is one instance from where he stopped taking active part in litigation, and he then shifted to full time being a part of the Tata Group, and also because he was a tax maverick, he's known as a tax attorney, a beautiful tax lawyer, so he knew the economy. और उसके बाद वो budget speeches देते थे. He was a part of the Tata Group, and he withdrew his participation from the litigation field.
Yeah. See, one more thing is that if you watched the video of My Law regarding, the video is titled "The Case Which Triggered the 1975 Emergency." So see, in that case, some Shanti Bhushan was a lawyer, right? So he says that if at that time he was in Bombay or Chennai, so if he was not in the city, he was not in the High Court. So if he said that if he would have been in the High Court, that stay would not have been granted. So he would have managed to convince the court to not give the stay. And the
Allahabad High Court, he was not in the Supreme Court.
Allahabad High Court granted the stay, right? So that Indira Gandhi wanted to appeal in the Supreme Court. So
right.
Shanti Bhushan was not in the High Court. That is why he could not manage.
Based on this only, Prashant Bhushan wrote his first book based on it. When his father Shanti Bhushan was fighting the arguments in court, he was arguing in the court. Prashant Bhushan used to come and sit back, and on these arguments, based on this, he started writing his own book. The first book which he wrote at the age of 21 or 22, I don't remember.
Okay. And और हम बता दें कि book का नाम है The Case That Shook India. It is written by Prashant Bhushan. Right. So the last question now. This is fairly easy. Identify this person. Ente Jivita Katham is his autobiography, and hint is obviously preventive detention and freedom of speech. This is a very iconic
A.K. Gopalan?
Obviously, it has to be A.K. Gopalan. And Hemant again winning the quiz with his last right answer. So Hemant, if you can just throw light on what was the A.K. Gopalan case?
I don't remember the correct facts of this case, but I still remember that was the first case. It was that case where procedure and process of law was defined. That was the procedure, due process, procedure of law, and the process of law. Was it the case against detention by state authorities?
Yeah,
A.K. Gopalan case.
Preventive detention. It was preventive detention.
Yeah, it was by the I think state authorities.
Yeah.
Okay. I think that. Oh, that was Maneka Gandhi case. Sorry, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Yeah,
Maneka Gandhi case made was procedure of due process of law. And A.K. Gopalan case was on political detention done by the state and the right of the state to infringe upon the fundamental part of right of an individual. That was the case where the court had deliberated. There's all like you cannot. I think that was the very first case where this jurisprudence, a predictive jurisprudence of a court on freedom of speech was introduced in Indian judiciary.
Mutual inclusivity को first time argue किया गया था. He said that the lawyer representing Mr. A.K. Gopalan said that because his right to movement was hampered, his right to life was also hampered. So there was a two-pronged argument, and he said that Article 21 is being infringed by the very preventive detention undertaken by the state authorities. So government said कि you can't argue like that. It is very well all the articles are mutually exclusive. तो 19 में अगर तुमको अरेस्ट किया है, freedom of movement को अरेस्ट किया है, तो 19(2) के exceptions में अगर केस आ रहा है, तो then you will be in jail no matter what, which was the final verdict of the Supreme Court back then. And obviously उसके बाद फिर it has been criticized a lot, and now mutual inclusivity is a very much defined doctrine. तो अभी 21 और 19 और सब एक ही हो गया, मतलब they are overlapping now.
I would just add here, I think this doctrine, this theory of mutual inclusivity was the basic stone which propounded the doctrine of harmonious construction between the fundamental rights. This was also invoked in the various in the present day.
Must be. So that was it. So the very hint that I had given in this question was preventive detention, क्योंकि or also the name is obviously not a very mainstream name. ऐसा कुछ, it's not in English, so or maybe rather it's in a vernacular language, so you can go to the roots of the language written, and clearly you can eliminate all the North Indian leaders or Central Indian leaders, or South India clearly है. South India में preventive detention is A.K. Gopalan, the most famous. I mean, there must have been others.
Yeah.
So that was the very question. Now this brings us to the end of the grand quiz. चलिए दोस्तों, शुक्रिया आप सबका आने के लिए.